Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of Black on Black Cinema. I'm your host Jay. I'm here with my co-host Micah
Hey,
and Terrence.
what's up?
All right, guys. Tiara is out this week, but we are back. This is episode 236, the Black Gestapo, aka the Black Enforcers. If you're watching this on Tubi, that's when it was renamed. It was also released under the name Ghetto Warriors, which just feels, like weirdly offensive. It is a 1975 American crime film about a vigilante named General Ahmed who starts an inner city people's army to protect the black citizens of Watts. However, when the army succeeds in chasing the mob out of town, Ahmed is replaced by his colleague, Colonel Koja, who reforms the movement into a national socialist criminal organization in order to get complete control over the town. This is directed by Lee Frost, who directed a number of pretty famous blaxploitation movies. Well, some more famous than others. And this is starring Rod Perry and Charles P. Robinson. Micah, you brought this movie to our attention because I had never heard of it, and I don't think Terrence had either.
No, I'm not.
What are your thoughts on this?
So, before anyone gets any ideas that I'm just walking around Googling Gestapo and I was watching a YouTuber, so a video essayist, and they were going off on a rant about stuff, and the subject of Kanye West and Nazis came up, and then he played a clip from the trailer of this movie, and I said, "What?" I said, "Excuse me?" And then it showed the title, and I'm like, "Yo, I gotta see this, right?" And so yeah, that's how we came to find this. I think I'm gonna enjoy the conversation that we're about to have more than the film. Even as far as blaxploitation films go, it's not great, but I find it amazing how prescient the movie is.
Right.
Like it's really sad. It's really sad because these people didn't make this movie because they had any forethought, right? Like they made this movie because like they wanted to. It's a blaxploitation, sexploitation. Like it's all the exploitations.
Nazi exploitation, by the way, which is a thing.
Which is a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not gonna give the movie any credit for being like ahead of its time. Quite frankly, I'm really sad that it was ahead of its time. It really bums me out, man.
Right.
I don't think you need to watch it, but I do think you need to listen to us talk about it. So if you didn't watch this, no need to follow along. Yeah, the Nazi imagery here is just like, if for some reason the title didn't give it away, literally 3 minutes into the movie, we see a bunch of Nazis goose stepping. So
yeah, and Hitler.
Yeah. Who some niggas like apparently. So yeah, don't watch it, but listen to this.
Okay, fair enough. So I'll go next. Look, I think you actually should watch it. Because all I could think of when I first heard of the movie, one, I was like, Michael, what are you Googling? Like immediately, like, why are you looking for this? But after like doing some research on Lee Frost, who co-wrote it and directed it, I was like, wow, what the fuck is that guy's problem? Right? Like that was immediately my response before even seeing the movie. Yeah, it's not a movie. I agree with Micah. It's not a movie where they were like, yes, I got an idea in this like larger conversation. Though just because of the times we live in, you can have that conversation. You can have a more in-depth conversation than the movie ever presents. It's fascinating. It's better put together than I thought it would be. They get right to the Nazism pretty fast. I was like, oh shit. I thought that'd be like, oh, we're dabbling that in like the last like 40 minutes. Nah, like not really. And it's weird to see the dude from Night Court again, being the head villain here. But like, I didn't hate the movie. I think it's a fine made movie, for what it is, right? Like, yeah, great shit on a curve sometimes. But I do find the conversation that is going to be had from this and its sort of salience, in the modern time. I think that's what's fascinating about it. So I think if shit like this wasn't going on right now, you'd be like, well, that was a wacky, dumb fuck movie, and why are we even talking about that? But now you go, yeah, okay, this is apparently some people's thought process. But we'll get into it. So, yeah, I think you should see it, just for like morbid curiosity. Terrence, what were your thoughts?
No, you shouldn't see this movie. It's fucking terrible. This movie sucks.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not good.
Taking a hard stance against Nazis, Terrence.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't think you should watch it. It was false advertisement. I didn't see any Gestapo. I want my money back.
Well,
it's like you said, as blaxploitation movies go, this is on the lower.
Yes,
it is.
Like about 15 minutes in. Oh no, 15 minutes from the end. I just started fast forward. I'm like, I know what happened. I just didn't get it. I'm like, yo, I just gotta finish this. I hate it. No. Like, again, the conversation that we're gonna have, it's not even. No. It's not even like, no. It's not even prescient, I don't think. Because it was false. Like, they just had Nazi clothing on. That was it.
Yeah.
They didn't like, there was nothing, there were no ideologies that had to do with Nazism. None of that. It was just the Black Panthers and then another group that was like, yo, we're going to take over the drug trade. And that's it. The fuck? That's not, no.
Well,
sucks,
I saw 1
out of 5.
Wow, that's higher than I thought you'd go, honestly. I bet that number gets lower as we go on.
Because like it was a bunch of black dudes cutting white people's dicks off and shit like that. So that's where the point came from.
Okay, that's fair.
Hey,
look, it's something for everybody.
Right. I enjoyed that.
The one thing that I did see that someone said is that they may have misnamed the movie originally.
Oh, Black Enforcers should be the proper name. That's what it should have been called.
Yeah, they're not real, and like technically they're not like Gestapo. They're more like the SS.
Well, that was the thing, is they actually think that they might have mistaken the Gestapo for the SS.
So everyone is stupid involved. Everything involved in this movie, including the title, is dumb.
Yeah, they didn't realize. Yeah, they didn't realize like the difference between the Gestapo and the SS. Yeah, because the Gestapo is like the police. Like that was like the secret police.
Like and the ones in the brown were funded by the government.
Right.
So those were the motherfuckers that should have been the Gestapo, if anything. Not the niggas in black. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, they would have been more of the militarized SS, right?
Like,
yeah,
what's his name was bad. Atrocious.
Mac from Night Court.
Mac from Night Court was fucking terrible. But
I liked Charles P. Robinson in this role. I did. I enjoyed the ridiculousness. Revenge. That scene made me laugh. Like that scene just made me. I was like, this is not. That's not the word you should use there. That just seems odd. So yeah, let's get into it. The movie opens up with a couple of white guys, and they're basically going like, okay, so the white characters in this movie who actually like are prominent early on, but then just kind of fade away. Like they just become almost completely irrelevant, which is fine by me. But the white characters are basically representative, like kind of like a white mob who kind of run the town, right? And the beginning of the movie shows a couple of them going to collect money, right? They just like any other mob, they go and they collect from people and small businesses and harass them. so you kind of get an idea who they are. Then we meet General Ahmed, who is the leader of this group of sort of this People's Army, right? And these guys are in brown, right? Brown shirts. Yeah, maybe you get it, maybe you don't, depending on your understanding of history. And again, I don't even know that they thought that through when they did it. But they're these kind of like militarized, sort of like the Black Panthers, but not nearly as militant, like weirdly.
And they can't fight.
They got their ass tossed in that park. They did.
It was an atomic drop.
It was like, yo, defend yourself. God damn. Wow. So they're basically like, listen, Martin Luther King, he had a dream and it died with him. We got to stand up for ourselves. We got to believe in ourselves. We got to fight for ourselves. That's the only way. I'm like Martin Luther King ain't say like, don't stand up for yourself. Like,
yeah,
that's like, yeah. I feel like, what are y'all, white people who talk about Martin Luther King? Y'all just missed all the shit he said. Like, all right.
And this is the stuff that I hear the people on the most left of the left, like Black people, talk about. Like, it's weird because I hear both of these arguments from everyone, and it's funny hearing it from Black people because it's like, well, we got to stand up for ourselves and can't rely on the rest of society, even though we live in the society. We got to separate ourselves from the society, and we got to lift ourselves up. And then the people on the right, the Gestapo, are saying the same fucking shit, right? Like, no, we gotta fuck society up, and then we be evil, right? Like the people that have that weird fantasy of what if, white people were Black people and Black people were white people and shit, right? Like, this is the white man's burden people, right?
People
like,
really got, people still to this day comment on that episode and we're like, we were wrong. That's a good movie. I'm like,
no, it's not.
No, it's not, yo. It doesn't understand race relations at all, yo. Shut up. Yo, if you think that's a good movie, yo, you don't understand subtext or the history of, you know what? Never mind. You're dumb. Anyway, I can't get into that. This shit is maddening to me. John Travolta's accent alone is offensive. But so bad. So, but here's a larger point to what you're saying, Micah. There is something in politics called the horseshoe theory, right? Like, politics, everybody often thinks that politics and your views are a straight line, right? On the left, you got, these particular views, and it slowly becomes more center, and then from the center going out to the right, that's your views, right? You're more conservative, and more liberal on the left. But in reality, it's not a straight line. It's more of a circle, right? And the further left you go, if you go far enough left, you're going to end up on the fucking right. And like, to me, that's one of the big points of this movie is if you're like, therefore Black liberation, and there's nothing wrong with that, which
right
is totally fine. Like, this General Ahmed guy is like, yeah, we got to stand up for ourselves. Like, he don't get the MLK shit right, but he's like, look, we set up a program with the government to like get $10,000 a month to help Black people. They're trying to help them with like medical programs and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. That's ideally what you want. But that's a very left idea. The civil rights movement was a left idea. I know there's a white person tuning in right now and be like, but Martin Luther King was Republican. That doesn't mean he was a conservative. And the parties are very different then as they are now. Do some history. You could Google it. It's fucking free. So, but that horseshoe theory, like, you're seeing it in real time in politics now, where you see people like Glenn Greenwald, who is super left guy for a long time, slowly but surely found his ass all the way back around, and now he's on the right. Like, so, like, it happens, and I see it happen with Black folks, or like with like supremacy arguments and shit like that, which I think is a big part of what we could talk about with this movie, of not just liberating Black folks, but then taking over and becoming the thing that you stopped or in their case, the thing that they hated. And a lot of that happens when people basically become too extreme, right? Like Koja, played by Mac from Night Court. He's ready to go on that type of shit from jump. Like they cut to Koja after like that speech, and he's just like, and then immediately like you basically are seeing what he's thinking about. And it's like you see Nazis goose stepping and Hitler, and he's like, fucking hell yeah, because he's extreme, like he's an extremist. And there is a delicate dance of being for liberalization and, you know, evening the playing field with everybody, and then going so far as to be like, but the only way to make that happen is to kill everybody who disagrees with me. And you're like, whoa, slow down. Like that, right. But that's what's happening. And it's happens in this movie, but it also is happening in like quite literally in politics right now. Like it's quite weird. And that's the thing about this movie I actually found to be fascinating. Again, not the movie itself, but just kind of what that kind of represents.
Well, that would have been fascinating if we had a baseline to where he started from, to why he all of a sudden went fucking crazy. Like, I get it, like, white people ain't shit, but like at the same time, you're taking over their operations and you're just fucking your own people up.
Yeah,
how does that make sense? This is the part that I don't understand. Like, I can see if he went to like a white neighborhood and took over, but he didn't. It's the same
why
fucking
exploit
neighborhood that he's protecting? He's exploiting his own people.
I think part of it. If this were a better movie, like you said, you would see Koja's fall. Right? Like you would see something. Like he just like the movie makes him out to be a villain from the first 3 minutes.
Right? You're like, I don't trust that
thinking
dude.
about Nazis. You a villain, yo. You a villain. But if you saw him with the main dude, Ahmed, if you saw him with Ahmed and they were working together and Koja saw some sort of injustice that he just couldn't, a circle he couldn't square.
Right.
And then you have your ideals clash and you see him becoming more militant, then, this would be a much better movie. Like that's my big hang up with this is that, one of my big hang-ups with this movie is that Koja was just like, I know what they were trying to do. They're really rushing it. I agree. You can't give one person or one group of people too much power because like that stuff eats at you. That's why cops are crooked, right? Yeah. Like you might have all the best. No cop is a kid and is like, I want to be a police officer so that I can be evil, right?
Right.
Like they grow into that through their environment, through opportunities and shit like that. Yeah. So I just wish this movie would have showed that.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now. You would know what movie did do that and did it perfectly? Planet of the Apes.
I was thinking the same thing, yo.
It's the same. It is. Look, and look. That feels right. Koja, like they're. You know what? Matt Reeves stole his idea for Planet of the Apes from this movie. That's what he did. That's fucked up. No, look, I don't want to talk about a movie with a bunch of apes on this show. It feels uncool. It feels uncool. But at the same time, that's why that worked. Because you literally watch those two characters being like, yo, that's my boy, like, we tight. And then shit started happening, and Koba slowly slides. And then when he finally was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm riding on a horse with fucking 2 machine guns trying to kill humans. You were like, that makes sense. Like, that is the right move for him. But yeah, you're right. Like, it's if this movie was 2 hours, you could have gotten, and you don't even need that much time to establish, but like you need like a couple of scenes of them like doing the righteous thing together. Like, we helping black folks, working at a soup kitchen, whatever the fuck. And then, like, one of their guys gets killed by this white guy. And it's like a young guy, right? And you're like, who was like an idealistic person. And you're like, and it just breaks him. And he's like, you know what? Fuck this. You know what? They used to beat us up, but they killed little Gary or whatever. So, like, now we got to, like, let's like, I'm going all in. That would at least make sense. But you're right. Like, him just being like daydreaming of Nazism in minute 3 is a bit wild.
And, you know, and from there, right? Like, okay, well, he established that would establish why you hate white people, right? I get it.
Right.
But in order for him to be like full on evil, like you have to have the ideological debate. And it just doesn't. God, that would make I kind of want someone to remake this movie, and I don't want them to use the term Gestapo. But
you could just say like some sort of black supremacy ideal.
In the hands of someone who is
smart,
halfway decent at filmmaking.
You could make a hell of a movie.
This concept. I would love to see this concept expanded.
Look, it's not that dissimilar. Not the movie is very dissimilar to the movie I'm going to say, but that conversation that could have been had between Ahmed and Koja is not dissimilar to the conversation that was had in The Spook Who Sat by the Door, right? Like that conversation between the cop and Dan Freeman, right? Like that idea of like, yeah, look, we're both like they're not even two sides of the same coin. They're like both on the same side of the coin. But like their perspectives are slightly fucked, and one person is literally there to protect property, and the other person is like trying to free his people. So but like that conversation happens in the minds of every black person always, right? Like
or Black Panther.
Yeah,
it's the same fucking thing, man.
Yeah, it is.
So it's like
it is. Ryan Coogler could redo this.
It isn't it's not a special ideal that this movie was trying to push on them. They just did it incredibly poorly. If you can't tell, I really did not like this movie. It was just it's so surface level. All of it.
It is. But I think the conversation is, look, this episode will be much better done than I think the movie is. So at this point, we see Ahmed. He goes and visits a guy in the hospital. If I recall, that guy had like overdosed or something like that. Or no, he had gotten beaten up by some white people. Like he had like I think
this first
the overdose
one was like
the first one was an overdose.
Oh, okay.
And they told him to go to Martin Luther King Hospital.
Yeah, I was like, all right, we got it. Like, we got it, guys.
Yeah. You tell a white person wrote this show. Like, there are more black people in the world than Martin Luther King, guys. Like,
he was like, I don't know any other ones.
Go to Martin Luther King Hospital on Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard.
No, don't do that.
Don't do that. You might get shot again.
Yes, 100%. But it's true in every city. Like it's that's a plan. They did that. They did that to throw dirt on Martin's name. This shit ain't right. So then we see these white guys, the same sort of mobsters that we saw early on. They're messing with this woman who's a nurse.
Detoxification center, military detoxification center.
Yes,
okay.
There's nothing unreasonable about that.
That's what your government dollars are paying for. A highly specific random building with spray paint.
It's a wildly specific name, which is wildly specific.
Oh my god!
So they're messing with this black woman. She's a nurse there in the previous scene, and she's also like General Ahmed's like lady friend, and they're like, hey, like how much for a blowjob? I normally don't pay more than $5. I'm like, all right, this is offensive, even for 1975. Goddamn. And she smacks him, because of course. And then the guy backhands her, and some of the People's Army guys, they see this happen. 3 of them I'm rewatching this fight. This is
everything about this, first of all, I hate that dude in glasses. Vito, I think is his name.
Yeah.
I was very sad. I was
Jake Paul?
incredibly satisfied with what happened to Vito.
His fate was great.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because like he stops Marshall, the nurse, and he blackhead sounds like a pimple. Shut up, white boy. and they corner her, right? And this guy Vito, he just reaches out and grabs a titty, and I'm like, yo, what? Like goddamn! Like I know these dudes are villains. Right? Yeah.
It's fucking wild, man.
And then this movie turns into a fantasy movie, because here is a black woman being harassed, and 3 black men come to her rescue.
Well, and look, they proceed to get their asses kicked. Like,
and
they got the shit
for helping people. See, this is why you're not supposed to help black women. Apparently,
yo,
get your ass kicked.
Yo,
you get a goddamn backbreaker.
Yo, he hit him with the Bret Hart. I was like, God damn, nigga, what are you doing?
He treated that nigga like he was Batman and he was Bane. Yo, like, it was like, yo, come on, snap.
That was unfortunate. Like a lot of monkey flips, a lot of knees to the face in this movie. A whole lot of that. And that straight up like back. It was like a spine. No, it was more like a gut buster.
Yo, that looked like. I mean, look, shout out to him as an actor, yo. Like, he did pick that dude up for real. Yeah, he wore his ass out. So yeah, the People's Army guys did not fare well in that fight. I'm like,
they just caused a distraction so she could run away.
Go ahead without me. So Koja finds out about what happened, and he basically goes to Ahmed. He's like, yo, our dudes got their asses whooped. You got to let me do something about this. Like, this is crazy. They ruptured this other dude's spleen, which, yeah, that seemed about right. And he's like, listen, you need to give me a chance to make like a retaliation force type of thing. And Ahmed has been reluctant to let Koja like kind of like do what he wants, because I think he kind of knows that Koja is a little unhinged. And so Koja's like, look, just give me 6 guys. And I'm gonna start this reaction force. I'm never gonna attack. That's not what I would do. I'm only gonna react if we're provoked. And Ahmed reluctantly is like, all right, but like, take it easy, right? Like, y'all don't got no Nazi shit, right? He's like, nah, don't worry about it. We good. Immediately, Koja's like, all right, let's go kill white people, basically. And like, we get a scene of like a white woman. I guess she's like a prostitute. Like, she just refuses to wear a top throughout this film. And they kind of just like these. It just goes to show you, like, these guys are just mobsters. They don't give a fuck. Like, they're just out to get laid, take money, and like smack women around. Like, they're just like real dirtbags.
Nice tits, nice legs, nice bush.
Yeah, I was like,
all right.
What is good?
Like, thanks for the rundown, Vito.
Even by blaxploitation standards, yo. Like, come on.
Yeah, you can put a bra on. He was like, nah, don't even worry about it. Like, but Lee Frost, the director of this, he kind of dabbled a little bit into
I saw his other film titles. He's on some like Beyond the Valley of the Dolls type shit, if you know what I mean. Like, have you ever seen that movie? And if I think like Roger Ebert wrote that movie.
Yes, he did. Yeah. He did. So here's the thing.
A lot of titties in his movies. Like Caged Heat type shit. So yeah, this tracks for his ass.
The thing is, he pretty much invented he started the women in prison exploitation genre. Yeah. He did a movie called Love Camp 7, which
look at the poster for Love Camp 7.
Yeah, go ahead, take a look.
Good Lord.
Look. He really isn't into like slow rolling the shit. Like he want to let you know exactly what you're getting into.
Here's what's on the poster of Love Camp 7. All the
What
youthful
the
beauties
fuck?
of Europe enslaved for the pleasure of the Third Reich.
Is this nigga a Nazi?
I think he's a really big fan.
I mean, yeah, well, it's got a big swastika. There's a woman being raped
Right.
by
What
two
the hell is
Nazis.
happening?
Yeah. But yeah, the women in prison, like, genre of film, like, he created that. Like I'm pretty sure it started with Love Camp 7, and, like, almost every one of his movies, Love Camp 7, Chain Gang Women, Chrome and Hot Leather, Dixie Dynamite, Private Obsession. And Private Obsession was done in the 90s. It was done in the 90s, and it was like a woman held in prison by a man. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. A beautiful woman is kidnapped and imprisoned by an obsessed man. Of course it was. So yeah, Lee Frost was into that shit. Like that's his fucking calling card.
Don't get me wrong. I've seen all the Pam Grier ones, but that's because Pam Grier was.
Yeah, but all of those spawn. You can thank Lee Frost for that. All of those spawn from Love Camp 7, I guess.
Christ.
Yeah, this is weird. So Koja goes to like his buddy, who was like even more like he's over the top too, but he refuses to join the People's Army because he's like, yeah, I ain't working for that job, nigga, you work for. Like, quite literally.
Surprise, it's a light-skinned nigga.
I mean,
like exactly.
This is the first time light-skinned and dark-skinned people have linked up to form a terrible alliance.
Yeah,
I was about to say, look at the damage we could do as a people if we just put colorism behind us.
That's funny. So he's like, listen, if you give me 2 weeks, I got 6 guys. I'm about to tear shit up. I'm about to separate from that job ass nigga, General Ahmed, and do my own thing. Give me 2 weeks, and then you join my team, and then we're gonna wreck shit. And he was like, all right. I'll see you in 2 weeks.
I thought this was James Earl Jones for a second when he first walked in. I was like,
yeah, that would have been that would be wild casting. You know what? That would be fine. I actually wouldn't have been mad at it. It would have been it would have been certainly a fun start to his career. Then Jake Paul and the other white guy, they're at a bar and they see that same black nurse that they tried to harass earlier. And so they roll up on her, and they grab her, they beat up her friend or whatever, and they grab her and throw her in the car, and he immediately rips her top off. I'm like, all right, we got it. Like, I mean, I wasn't mad at the boobs, but like, you gotta relax, yo. Like, we get it. There's a lot of rapey shit in this.
Folks, this is in the trailer, and if you don't believe me, feel free to go look.
Titties and all.
Wow.
So
Nipples akimbo.
Vito rips this black woman's shirt off, and she's just like, go ahead, rape me. Go ahead and rape me, you honky bastard. It's probably the only way you can get it up. And I was like, God damn.
It's one of the funniest words in the English language.
It is.
That's more your style, isn't it? Rape.
Yeah, I was like, all right, God, we got it. We got it.
Look, this movie is a lot of things, and a lot of them not good, but this delivery of this woman indignant in the face of this white man.
It's pretty good.
Go ahead and rape me, you honky bastard. Like she popped that B.
Yeah.
Like it was no tomorrow. Like I loved it.
She was like, this is my chance to make a career. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can tell when certain actors and actors, they're like, all right, I got a couple of lines. Like I gotta make this shit stick. You know, I could be the next Pam Grier. I don't think she did, but like that's all right. She did good.
And it's so like it makes you appreciate like blaxploitation movies that are good because this delivery is very much like I'm gonna parody a 70s blaxploitation movie, because I am a thespian,
Yeah.
but I have to be in this movie. So I'm just gonna act it. It's like, all right, you
It's like the
honky
beginning of a
bastard.
It's like the beginning of Black Dynamite when his brother gets
Yeah,
murdered.
exactly.
Yeah.
What kind of job?
Oh shit. So from there, we come to find out, like, Koja finds that, you know, this woman had been attacked and beat up, because the white guy's like, yeah, this is my style, and then he just fucking hits her in the face, which was fucked up. Koja finds out. He then, him and his buddies sneak into this guy's house, and this is Terrence's favorite scene. They surround this dude while he's in the bathtub, and they cut his balls off with a razor blade.
Yikes.
And
Best
it's
of
like
luck.
one of them. It's like one of them Sweeney Todd razor blades, right? Like, one of them old fashioned. I gotta open it up like this.
It was the JD's Revenge razor blade.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, that's right.
That's right. I fucked
With
your
your
woman.
bitch. That movie's wild. Look, they hold him down and they're like, listen, new rules. We're just gonna cut your balls off. For fucking with a black woman.
Well,
Look,
first of all, back up. Hold on. When he goes to her, and he's like, "Who did it?" He's like, "It was this big dude." He's like, "That's just how I like it, big." I'm like, "Pause, nigga. What are you doing?" Like, what? I'm like, okay, that was strange.
yeah, it's a bit of an odd delivery.
That was again, this nigga was terrible in this fucking movie. Like,
Nah, he's my favorite character in this movie by far.
okay. Like I can usually rock with like the insanity of a character like this, but he just pissed me off, and he didn't like comb your head, nigga. God damn, he just irritated. Like his whole character just irritated the fuck out of me.
I like that they cut this dude's balls off and then he flushed them down the toilet. Like there was no getting them back either. I was like, yo, that's damn. Lorena Bobbitt at least threw his shit in the field. He was like, nope, done. Like knock that shit off.
The fact that they found that shit is still a miracle.
Yeah, don't need it. But so the head of the like white mob or whatever, he gets they like a bunch
This
of the
was
white
the
mobs.
best bit of acting in the fucking movie when he goes to homeboy's house and he tells him, he's like, what? His balls off. What? Jesus Christ.
Yo, his
Oh,
toupee
wow.
is wild, by the way.
Yeah,
That guy's
it's
toupee is crazy.
unfortunate.
It's like you might as well have a chin strap underneath. So yeah, they go to him and they're like,
I have a very stupid, very ignorant question. Did they have breast augmentation back in the
that
70s?
lady-
I said the same
yeah,
thing.
like-
Those are incredibly perky.
yeah, I was just looking at that. I'm not sure that those are real.
Today's
And
movie,
yes,
yo,
yes,
like-
they did. Right, that's
right.
not. It didn't happen. It didn't start in the 90s or anything.
All
were-
right. I just look. I don't know. I ain't got titties. It just that was just very like.
Yeah, nah,
yo,
yo, nah. Come on, yo. I'm looking. Nah. Like they're just like. So yeah, this woman, the first breast implants in Hollywood. So basically, yeah, they tell the boss, they're like, yo, they cut Vito's balls off, and left him to bleed to death in a tub. Oops. And so he's like, look, we got to figure out what the fuck's going on. These black people are wilding. I can't believe they're not letting us exploit them like we always do. So more guys go to collect money from this one black dude. More on him later. And he's like, look, man, I don't have it. I don't have the money. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And as they're getting ready to harass him, Koja and his buddies show up. They kick the shit out of these white guys. And then they end up shooting and killing, or shooting, I guess he's may die, one of these white mobsters. And he basically sends the head of the mobsters that was there. He's like, look, just go back get the fuck out of here. Go tell your boss, like, we're not playing around. You shoot one of our guys, we shoot you. Because one of the Black Gestapo guys got shot in the middle of this gunfight.
And then the dude just comes and is like, yeah, I'll be taking that. Thank you. I'm like, come on, nigga. What the fuck?
Yeah, so he begins to exploit
This is the
their
start.
own people. And so to that point, like, it is like weird in the movie as that is, right? Like, because they're bad guys, so like you get it, right? There is something rather familiar about that, right? Like this idea of wanting, like, oh, I don't want black people being treated like shit by white people, but like we have black people who sell drugs. I sell drugs in the community, like. Right? Like, we have our own, chocolate giddy ups, as it were. That's still one of the funniest fucking moments in that movie. But, like, we have black people who exploit other black people for profit, for their own benefit and everything else. And it is a thing that we accept. Like, we may not like it, but it is just, like, a hard fact of the community. And it's really weird because it's not a thing that gets pushed back on, like, how do I say this properly? Like, we idealize, like, musicians and shit who used to do this, right? Like, it's a bit weird that we're just like, well, they just sell drugs. But, like, they're doing damage literally to the communities that we are trying to pull out of this shit. They are literally weaponizing, like, our vulnerability. Like, it's just and that's not me, like, getting high on my horse or anything, but I'm just saying, like, that is a real thing. Like, I like Jay-Z's music, but Jay-Z did make a bunch of money selling, like, crack and shit, like, to black people. Like, that's fucked up.
Right.
And then talks about black liberation himself.
Right. There's this argument that's out now that, well, it's a thing now because of the times we live in. Like, us being, like, older, people will say we listen to our hip hop, like, the people we listen to sold drugs. These young niggas listen to people that actually do the drugs now.
Yeah,
which is like, what the fuck? Neither one of them are actually good.
Right. I'm
neither
sure
one of those situations is good.
Right. I'm confused as to what the argument is.
Like, which one's better? I mean, I'd make the argument that, like, niggas back in the day actually were better at better artists. But,
yeah, well,
like,
they didn't have giant holes in their brains from taking drugs all day.
Yeah, like the dudes taking drugs now are taking the wrong types of drugs.
Just smoke weed, nigga. What are you doing?
Right, that's all you gotta do.
Weed, and then they do Percocets and whatever the fuck else some niggas do. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
That's why the 70s, that's why the 60s and the 70s had all the best music, because people were just smoking weed. They're
doing a lot more than weed.
Doing LSD.
Yeah.
Well, right. They were doing like shit that, like, hallucinogens, not like bath salts or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Tide Pods or whatever the fuck it is young people
right.
do. I don't know. I'm
Shit
old.
that got your imagination going, not fucking turning you into a zombie.
Right. Yeah. Like, and yeah, I mean, that idea of the selling drugs versus doing the drugs. I mean, if you take that point, which is a weird one, because again, like, are you saying one is better than the other?
Like, what are you talking about right now?
Both bad, dum dum. Like,
right. Talk about the actual, like, skill, not the goddamn the fucking acts involved.
Right, exactly. But, like, at the same time, what does more damage to their listeners? This idea of, like, because our era of rap music is definitely like get money, get money, get money. It was all about money. Not that that doesn't exist in modern rap. It absolutely does. But the other message in more modern rap, from what I can tell, is like, have a good time, get high, get high, get high. Like, it's a lot of just get fucked up, right? So, like, I don't know which one is better, because, you could say, oh, well, rise and grind, that's all good and everything. But, like, to what detriment? To, like, exploiting your own people to get money? Like, that's obviously fucked up and wrong. Or are you getting yourself so destroyed on drugs in the modern era that you're not even able to participate in some sort of black liberation anyway, because you're getting yourself so complacent in where you are because of the drugs, right? So, again, I'm not judging anybody. I'm just saying, like, that's how I see it, as at least from a a slightly below surface look at those two different eras.
Right.
So
it's weird because it's like you see these people taking advantage of their own, and but just because they provide a service, right? Like I can't help but to think of Kanye West in situations in this situation, because he's like he look, I don't know that dude. I don't know that dude's story, but I do know what I see, and I see him getting famous off of the backs of taking our money for his art, which is perfectly fine. But I don't see but when you make it, like you leave us, and you don't, like, that's all you want from us. And quite frankly, and I'm just using him as an example, but like we expect that. Like
he told us what he was going to do. And when he got on his ass for a white girl, he leave your ass for a white girl.
Right.
Ever since
like
he left his high school sweetheart, I guess, been with nothing but white women for like the last 2 years.
No, that's not true. That's not true, because he was with what's that light skinned chick? She's got like a shaved head.
Amber Rose is white.
What's that?
You talking about Amber Rose?
Is she white? I thought she was like black or half black.
She's like white and Hispanic or some shit like that.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
She's not black.
Okay.
Well, maybe she is.
I thought she was. She tattooed like slut on her forehead. I was like, that doesn't.
That's weird.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
it's
done
a weird
that.
statement. You can make that statement without like fucking your face up, but okay.
Right, like she does like the slut walk and everything, and I'm not even against that. Like you want to sleep with a bunch of dudes. There's nothing wrong with that. Again, I don't understand why men are complaining about this. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, like, that's your problem.
You could be next, nigga. Shut up. Right? Like I don't have a problem with that, but like she was very attractive, and it was like, oh, you just tattooed slut on your forehead. Best of luck. Can you scrub it off? Because that looks ridiculous. To me. I'm not a face tattoo guy. Like, that's just... I'm old.
But, like, I don't... Like, when a celebrity gets in trouble, half of us, maybe even more than half of us, are so quick to defend them. And based off of literally no evidence. The only evidence that we have is the person is being an asshole, but they did something nice for us once, so now we have to defend them forever. Nah, yo, like just because these people got just because the Brown Panthers got rid of these white people at my shop doesn't entitle you to rob me now. Like,
right.
And I don't know, man. I see that, and it just, I don't know. It pisses me off, man.
Well, Kanye is an interesting person, right? Because Kanye has bipolar disorder, right? That's definitive. The thing about Kanye is, if he wasn't who he was, if he wasn't just Kanye West, a regular dude, right? He just like works at Walmart or whatever the fuck, right? A regular ass job. Kanye West having a bipolar episode, having a manic episode, and like being home with his friends and saying some wild shit like, I love Hitler. Hitler's great. Blah, 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 blah. You'd be like, oh, that nigga's he's having a manic mode, whatever, set brain to ignore until this dude comes out of it. But because of who he is, and because he's such a public figure, whatever he says sticks to him as if he is of sound mind. And I'm not, look, I will be the last person to tell you, feel sorry for Kanye West. I'm not a fucking fan of that nigga's behavior at all, right? Because I think some of it is his bipolar disorder, and then I see how he acts when he's fine. And that shit gets on my nerves. Like, do I think I love Hitler, I love Nazis? No, I don't count all that shit as being like of sound mind for him. But when he said slavery is a choice, when he was hobnobbing with fucking Candace Owens and all that other shit, I don't think he was having a manic episode. He was having a time where he was like, should I say some controversial shit so that I can get myself in the news, so I can get black people talking about me? That's the type of shit that offends me. Him saying some wild shit about Hitler and Jews and all that other stuff, look, that might be partially shit he believes. Maybe, I don't know, which is fucked up in and of itself. I don't believe in oppression Olympics. You say some fucked up shit, you say some fucked up shit about black people or Jewish folks. I don't think one is somehow worse or whatever. They're both equally fucking horrible. But I think that has a lot more to do with his manic episode. That shit that he said about, him hanging out with Trump and all this other shit and him hanging out with Candace Owens, that is shit that I think he tries to exploit for controversy. And I don't approve of that shit. I don't give a fuck what color you are. And I like your first couple albums. They're amazing. But that's not enough for me. It's just not enough for me. You being a great producer and being a fine rapper who makes pretty good albums from time to time is not enough for me. So, like, we have to be able, I personally think, as a community, but you do what you want, I think that you have to be discerning. You have to be able to say, hey, man, I fuck with that person. And then they do something horrendous and go, you know what? I don't fuck with them. You don't have to ride for that nigga all the time. And some people will ride for even the Nazi shit he says, which is fucking crazy to me.
Yeah.
As a black person, they're like, well, I mean, technically, was Hitler really wrong? I'm like, yo, there is a lot of traffic out there. Walk into it. Like get the fuck out of here. Like, what is wrong with you? It's very weird to me. So, yeah. I don't vibe with fucking supremacy arguments from anybody. I don't care what color you are. I just don't. I don't think there has never been a person who has promoted any level of supremacy over others, whether race, religion, or anything else, that has been on the correct side of history. Ever. Right? Like, you'd be like, well, some people would just want to separate. Malcolm X said, yeah, you talking about Malcolm X in the first half, nigga. Don't forget the second half of his entire life. People like to leave that shit out too when it's inconvenient. White people like to forget the second half of his life, and black people like to forget the first half of his life sometimes too. Like, you gotta look, you gotta love all of that person. You gotta look at them as a whole person. And like, no, even he was like, nah, this doesn't seem correct. And then they killed that nigga for that shit, which is fucking crazy.
Right. Like,
he said some of the harshest shit about white people all day long. And people were like, that's fine. And he was like, we should bring everybody together. Nation of Islam was like, time to go. That's fucked up. Martin Luther King, same thing. You say all the shit you want. You bringing people together. Nope. Fred Hampton, same thing.
Once you can get it into white people's heads, poor white people's heads, that they are down there with you, like, right? You got to go.
Yeah.
I won't even say that shit on this podcast. How about that? I don't want somebody to hear me say it. White people and us be different. Man. Go over there.
That's the secret sauce, man. Like,
absolutely it is.
Like, yeah, there is absolutely racial disparities, and white people have advantages that others don't, and men have advantages that others don't. But like, you gotta keep. If you want to stay at the top, you got to keep everybody else at the bottom.
Yes, and you got to and not just keep them at the bottom. You got to get the people on the bottom fighting each other.
Right.
That's the big part. That's the big part.
I was actually, I know we're not talking about the movie right now because
that's fine.
Movie. But I was thinking about something the other day. I was thinking about like Chinese restaurants. This is weird, but hear me out.
Delicious.
You notice how they're the food is fucking amazing. But you notice how they're always in like the hood?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're always in the hood. People come over from other countries and they're able to go to the fucking banks and just get loans. Yep. They're just like, hey, I want to open up a store in the hood. They get the loans, but we never, like, if we wanted to do the same thing, we don't get them.
Nope.
And I feel like white people do. I came to the conclusion that white people do that to keep us fighting each other.
It's not a bad conclusion.
Because like you'll see like 5 or 6 fucking Chinese restaurants on the same block, like on the same strip. If you go to fucking Greenmount,
there's mad Chinese places. Yeah, I used to live right near there. There's mad Chinese places.
Right, like right over 33rd. Like there's fucking 4 Chinese restaurants within like 4 or 5 blocks of each other. Why were they able to open those stores, but we can't? And I feel like they know that like they're considered like the like Asians are considered the like the quote unquote model minority.
Right.
And like white folks know that like they let them open those stores up in our neighborhoods, quote unquote our neighborhoods, and like we have a contentious relationship with them because like why the fuck do you get to do this, or any minority for that matter, like Indians doesn't matter, like why do you get to do that but we can't? And I feel like they do that on purpose, and I'm like that's really fucked up.
I mean, look, I don't think that's a bad conclusion at all. I think it's actually pretty sound. But I also think that it extends a little bit further than that because black folks that come, like Nigerian black folks who come, because like Nigerians be putting in work. Like, look, like
they do. Right.
They put in work, but they get loans too, and they open their own shit too, right?
Yeah, that's true. They open like used car lots and shit.
Look, I'm not gonna say anything about that. They're gonna try to take my credit card. Like whatever, it's cool. I'm gonna money. No, I'm just fucking around. But they do get loans. Ethiopians do too, right? Like that's a big thing. I've got a good friend of our family's who's Ethiopian. They got like mad businesses, shit. Like just mad businesses. It's crazy.
But do they have those businesses in white neighborhoods?
They don't have like the hood.
Exactly.
No, they don't.
Exactly.
They don't. So,
exactly. But like it never goes the other direction.
Right.
It never
exactly.
Goes, you know.
No. I agree with you. My point there is us not getting loans it's not even a black thing. It's a black American thing, right? Like
that's what I mean.
Like
we
they will separate
even
even us from Africans.
Right,
like they're like,
it's
different. Yeah, they don't give us a chance, right?
And then the Africans like y'all niggas is lazy. I'm like, but like they don't give us nothing, dog. Like y'all kind of get the benefit of the doubt because you just got here.
Right. It's like, oh, when did you get here? 6 months ago? Would you like
$70,000? It's like you can't even speak the fucking language.
Doesn't matter.
You still get the loan. That shit is nuts. I have a friend.
Well, I think part of it.
I think didn't speak the language for like the first 20 years they lived here.
I think part of it.
Walking to the fucking bank.
I think part of it, especially like if you are FOB, that they're getting those loans, is I'm thinking that the banks hope that they default, right? Like I'm thinking the banks hope they fail. Like you can't even speak the language. You can't possibly open up a dry cleaner.
But history shows that's
now that should work.
They don't fail.
That's literally what they do.
Yeah, right. So it's fucking weird. I don't know, man.
Well,
shit.
No, they do, and like that idea. I mean, that's why in the modern era, the thing that you're seeing from black folks, at least that I see, is so many black people going, you know what? How are there, like, what business can I start myself that does not require startup money or very little of it, that I don't have to depend on other institutions like banks and stuff like that to get my foot in the door. Look, the internet is an amazing place now, right? Like if you are crafty and smart enough and you can figure it out, you can build that empire and you don't need anybody. By the time you go to a bank,
more than nothing.
Right. Like by the time you go to the bank to ask for a loan, you're only asking so you can expand. And you've already shown like, I already make X, Y, Z amount of money. I didn't fucking need you. And then they're like, oh, there's money in dar niggers. Like, like now we'll give you this extra money so that we can make more money. But that idea of giving us a chance is difficult for us to like show white people. And I fucking hate that I even have to say that, but to show white people that we're even worthy of being given a chance, which is a gross thing to even have to say out loud. Because of course we're worthy just like anybody else. But
so the fact that they exploited this black man in his fucking TV shop is even more fucked up because he was able to open the shit to begin with.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand. It would be like a black bank, like giving this guy a loan and then making his interest rate through the roof. And you're like, yo, what the fuck? Like, where are we? Like, are we helping each other or not? Right.
33% interest. What the fuck?
I'm never going to make money on this TV. Like, you're not.
Oh shit!
We are not interested in you winning. So yeah, like that idea of Koja just taking over this already exploited man and just stepping in and becoming the white man, right? Like because is it the exploitation that is the injustice just because like on its face, like, or is it because they're white? I would argue it's just the exploitation and they just happen to be white, and you being black somehow makes it doubly worse. I'm like, yo, what the fuck why are you kicking me in the teeth, nigga? Like, you grew up around here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very weird. Like, I didn't grow up in an area, like, I had a couple of friends who didn't, like, kind of weren't successful in life due to drugs, like, a couple of just people I grew up with when I was really young, but not a lot. So I didn't grow up in a neighborhood where it's like a bunch of people you saw just like standing on the corners. Nothing like that. But like that idea of knowing that those people got those drugs and stuff like that from other black people, like maybe even people we knew, is just so fucked up to me. And then we look at our own community and like, man, how we gonna make it? Hey, by the way, you want this? Like, what the fuck, man? Stop. But the problem is they don't know another way to get out themselves, right? Like, it's just like, it's a weird double-edged sword. Look, we ain't making the fucking heroin and the cocaine. We're not making it. We certainly aren't flying it in from overseas, right? Somebody is. You know, that's an old adage, but like, it's still fucking true, even in 2023.
Better start shucking and jiving on TikTok. Hope somebody see your ass. You better create a challenge that doesn't involve eating detergent. Catch on.
But look, that's why black people be getting super mad when like these companies are like, we're just gonna take your audio and just throw it on TikTok. Like, no, you won't. You better pay me my money.
Yeah.
Like, fuck that.
I remember
I get it.
I remember Jimmy Fallon had this white girl on who did this dance, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I came up with this." And look, this is when I love black people the most. This is when black people from around the world via the internet form like Voltron to shut some shit down.
Yeah, we do.
And they were like, nope, Jimmy Fallon, you better get your ass. You better correct yourself, nigga.
Yeah.
These two black people created this thing, and he had to walk it back.
Yeah, like, look, we don't even fuck with you like that, but like, don't make like you don't want to be the person who's like popular on the internet that day. Like, don't let it be you.
Yeah, man.
Jimmy Fallon ain't always done things the correct way. Like, man, some blackface in your history, my man. Like, don't do that.
Yeah, you don't want to be in the area when the black signal goes up. Yo. Get out of here.
It's like musical chairs. Like, oh shit. The music stopped. Like, yeah, you better have a fucking seat. Like, get the fuck out of here. So we find out, like, all the white guys are like, these black niggers are killing us. Like, they're fighting back. We got to do something. And they're like, all right, like, let's lead them to this barbershop. And then they come in and we're just going to shoot them. I was like, okay. Like, that was a wild move.
Odd.
It was a wild move.
Smash cut to a barbershop. How the fuck did they get in there? Did they come in through the back door?
Yeah, they came for
the setup.
Yeah, I didn't really understand the whole
again. Just okay, cool.
Then we see
they
something.
Just murdered them niggas and they just left.
Yeah, they
just three dead niggas in a barbershop. Like, sound like a movie title, but that was weird. You know? Like,
by the way, in a black barbershop, like, they shot, like, the two black barbers are like, what are we supposed to do with this shit?
Like, I don't know what the fuck. Okay.
And you better have you better have my money when I come back. Like, what the fuck, yo?
Like, my fucking business is gonna be closed down.
Right.
This is a crime scene, nigga. Like, what are you doing?
Like, okay. Buddy, I'm just doing fades all day. Can you leave me alone? What the fuck? Yeah, then the most realistic scene in the movie happens, which is a man is distracted by titties and is run off the road.
Did you see the little dirt ramp he had to hit?
Yeah.
He went off the road.
That's some Thelma and Louise shit. Yeah, these white girls were like, hey, you want to see a titty? And this guy was like, yeah, I do. Because, you know, lizard brain guy, I get it. And they were like, psych, nigga. And they just drove this white dude right off the road. Yeah, like, that convenient little dirt ramp is hilarious. Yeah, and They ran this dude right off the road, and when
which they didn't have to show the titty, right? Because they're ramming him. They're literally like they're ramming him. You could have just rammed him.
Now Lee Frost was like, for authenticity, they gonna need to see the titty. It's like, okay, like Lee, we don't have to. He was like, we have to show
it's been 3 minutes. I think it's titty time.
which is a quote I use often myself.
So when wife, it's been 3 minutes. It's titty time.
She'd be like, "Yeah, that's what your newborn son says. Shut the fuck up." Right? Oh, you're right. I was saying for him, not for me. I'm not an asshole. So when the car lands at the bottom of the hill, this guy is somehow still alive.
Right,
and
I feel like he probably didn't have a seatbelt on, but that's fine.
Yeah, he definitely didn't. He's got ketchup poured all over his head. He's bleeding, and he can't get out of the car because Koja and his team are there with machine guns shooting at the car. And he's like, "Ah, you son of a bitch, let me out." And he's like, "No, give us the money." And so he throws a couple of 4 bags of money out, and he was like, "All right." He was like, "All right." And so then they throw a Molotov cocktail on top of the car, which is fucked up. And he was like, "Hey, man, I thought you said you was going to, let me get out." He was like, "No, I said I wasn't going to shoot you." And he's like, so he just burned him, and then the car exploded, and he died. And then Koja says, "Now you can get out." Which,
okay, honky, you can get out now.
I was like, all right. That's not it wasn't a bad delivery. I wasn't mad at it. So yeah, they burned that guy alive. So now the white people are like really pissed. They're like, "Man, this shit could have been, we had it all. But these niggas have fucked it up for us." Fast forward, Koja and his dudes, they now have taken this like house that has a pool. It is stocked with, I assume, cold beers and a lot of white women, like a lot. And
a pool in the front and a tennis court in the back. Is that normal?
No.
Have a pool in your front yard?
No, but it's like a compound. So like maybe I don't know. I don't live on that compound. But these dudes have gone like they're in somewhat similar Nazi regalia. I mean, they've got the Iron Eagle, the whole 9 yards on the hats, and Koja has built this entire force, right? And again, they're all about just sleeping with white women like a lot and running this criminal organization. Meanwhile, Ahmed, who we have not seen in quite a long time in the movie, he goes to that nurse and she's like, "I haven't been with you in 3 weeks. Like, the fuck you think you walk in here? Like, I haven't been alone with you for over 3 weeks. Like, what are you doing here?" And he just looks at it and goes, "Tonight's the night." And then they just bang it out for no reason because it's a blaxploitation movie. Like, I didn't understand why they had a sex scene at all. I mean, wasn't that?
I gotta be an asshole for a second.
Yeah.
No, she's too fine for that nigga. Like that
Yeah.
woman
Is she slumming
That
it?
woman's gorgeous, man.
No, she's very good looking.
She's
She's very
fine
good.
as hell. I was like, this nigga? Okay. I mean, and all he had to say is tonight's the night, and she was like, "Ooh." I was like, don't. That's acting. Stop. But anyway,
Look,
that was ridiculous.
well, she wakes up the next day, disappointed, and
This nigga look like a grown-up ass Willis. Like, get out of here, man.
Oh.
Trying to tell me this beautiful ass woman. All right, yo. All right. I noticed that too. I was a little upset.
It's hilarious. So she wakes up the next morning, probably disappointed, and she's like, "Listen," she gets a phone call. And she's like, "I know you were part of the, this exploiting these black people, and these are your guys, and all this other stuff." And he's like,
they threw a Molotov, they blew up her fucking clinic or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Because helping black people.
Like, what the fuck was that for? Like, why would you? Why? Like, that's completely unnecessary.
Well, maybe it was to
they
frame the
help
white guys.
drugs.
I don't know. Like, don't help black people. Boom. Like,
Oh.
okay. Like, what we doing?
No, so it was the black Nazis are shaking down people, and other people, a third party of people who are just like, we're not gonna take this shit anymore. We recognize you, Koba. You one of the Brown Panthers. Let's go firebomb the detox clinic that the Brown Panthers own. Right? It was all that's where the whole misunderstanding comes in. Like, the Nazis didn't do it. It was the people it was the proletariat who are tired of the Nazis, and they wanted to send a message, but they sent the message to the wrong people. And this dumb nigga is just like, this nigga's out of it. He had that whip appeal thrown on him.
Shut up, yo. Shut up. Oh my!
He wasn't that fucking sweet.
What?
She said, "Get out." He woke up quick. That wouldn't have woke my ass up. He's a light sleeper, I guess. He's a soldier. You gotta be.
Yeah, you know why? Because he ain't put it.
No, he ain't put that work in.
Nah, get out of here. Get out of here.
Nah, I sleep like a fucking rock. Get out of here. Like, the whole world could be on fire. I ain't hearing nothing. He was like, "Oh, well, I'm up at 3 a.m." Like, all right, doing push-ups and shit. So he goes to see Koja, and he's like, "Oh, y'all got new names now? You got new code names and shit? Like, damn, I thought we was cool." And they're like, "Nah, nigga, fuck out of here." And he's like, "Look, what you're doing right now is fucked up. You got these white women here. You ain't wearing your uniform. What happened to you, Mac? You ain't shit." And so they have a little argument or whatever. It's not a big deal. He walks off, and they're basically like, "No, we'll take care of him. Don't even worry about it." Then some of Ahmed's boys beat up some of Koja's guys or whatever. It's a scene that really didn't fucking matter or make sense to me. Then Koja's
that scene was to illustrate that the Brown Panthers are striking back against the black Nazis.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I just didn't understand, like, the dude in white or whatever. It was like a third party character that hadn't shown up in anything. He was like a pimp or some shit.
I can't get you your money in time. It's like, well, you better. And all right, so this is just another nigga. So then I'm gonna take the money. So they take his money, and then they set him up to take the money out the trunk that he put another briefcase in. And okay,
yeah,
whatever.
again.
Who cares?
Who cares? Koja's guys grab up Ahmed. They take him out in the middle of the nowhere in California, it looks like. And there's like one actually like pretty cool shot scene of like the one dude, the camera's like right on the barrel of the gun. And so it's like right on the screen. I always like that shot. It's kind of fun. And he's like, "Look, you want to turn around and see it coming, or you want to get shot in the back?" And they're just like letting Ahmed walk, I would argue, a little too far. And so Ahmed's like, "I'm out." And then he just fucking tries to dive down a hill. And of course he gets shot on the way down. Dumb.
Like, I get it, right? You don't want to kill him and then drag the dead body into the car. And then you got the whole, like, then you got the Vincent Jules situation where you got to call the wolf to come in and clean the fucking car and all that. Like, you don't want to do all that, right? So you take him in the car alive. But when you get there,
shoot him immediately. Yeah.
Then shoot him.
You don't have a conversation.
You kick him down the hill.
Yeah.
And then leave so you don't get caught, because someone may have heard the gunshots in the middle of nowhere. But y'all weren't worried about that shit like in the city. That's fine. Cool.
Or you weren't worried about it if you had shot him and killed him. Like, this is the same event. Like, they would have heard that too. Like, if you shot this nigga point blank in the back of the head, somebody would have heard it. Like, according to you. Isn't that why you took him out in the middle of nowhere? Never mind. So Ahmed, he barely like makes it back. He was just like shot in the back. I guess it went through his stomach or whatever. and he survives. Then back at that like weird white woman, she's like, "Oh, I've been sick. I don't feel so good," and just like the white guys, they were just like, like the look of that. Like again, you've become the thing that you hate. You have become the same white guys that you say you were fighting against.
He even quotes one of the white guys. He even quotes Vito for something like, if they can't, well, one of them does it somewhere in this movie where he's like, well, if they can't pay protection, then from their sales or whatever, they just gonna have to make up the difference, right? Like I get it, movie. You're trying to show that, like, hey, like you said, these dudes have become the thing that they hate the most. It just rings hollow, right? Because it just seems like they were always like that.
So okay, here's my question. Like in a real world scenario, do you think that do you or at least I guess I see it. Do you guys see this idea of like these organizations that are like, what is it, foundational born Americans or whatever it is, or like, there's all these like, we're the real black people of America and all this other shit, groups that sort of want to then be on top. They want black people to be on top in this country, and I don't mean like politically and like things be even. I mean like they want to be in the position that white people are in, and they want white people to be in the position that black people are in. Like, do you guys see that stuff, or is that not on your radar?
I see it like very, very rarely. Like very rarely. Like last time I saw it, it was a long time ago. We were in Chinatown in DC, and like they weren't like African American descendants of African slaves or whatever. Like they were the black Israelites, and they were spouting that shit. Yeah, like
Foundational Black Americans, FBA.
Foundational Black.
So
I don't think I've ever heard.
Yeah, that's a Tariq Nasheed big thing that he's for.
Yeah, and I've heard it when because I used to not listen to Tariq Nasheed, but I've heard the name, and I'm like, who is this, right? Like, this can't be that bad, and it was.
I spent 1 week. I spent 1 week listening to his podcast. I wanted to blow my fucking brains out. Stop playing your shitty music underneath as a soft bed to your entire podcast. It's awful. I hate that. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, that's aggravating as fuck.
When did you start your podcast? Like 1993, my nigga. Like, people have stopped doing that, like years ago. It's awful. It's not your answering service. Shut up.
I hate it when people have music that has lyrics to it. And
it'd be like real ass songs. I'm like, stop. Like, nigga, turn off Booed Up for a second and make your point. Like, this shit is annoying.
That's how you know that song has been played way too much.
The fact that I know what that song is.
Jay knows it.
I like that song, man. It's not
I don't think I've actually. The closest I've heard is fucking our favorite comedian, Dr. Umar Johnson.
Yeah, that's my dude.
That nigga's hilarious, yo.
Excuse me? Pardon me?
Even he's like, I don't think he wants to. Well, he does say I'm for black supremacy. He does say that. Like, he literally says that shit.
That's wild, yo. That's wild. That's wild.
It's really funny. Like, this nigga's crazy. He's not crazy, but he's
out there.
He's a wild. He's smart. He is.
He is an incredible like marketer. And he's like Alex Jones in a way, where Alex Jones is dumb, but he's really good at one thing, and that's being a pitchman, a salesman. Yeah, and that's what Umar Johnson
infotainment.
Yeah, and that's what Umar Johnson is. And I respect the hustle. I just don't respect
The message,
the actual hustle.
like the
Right,
message.
like,
of
Message is all over the fucking place. Because some of it I fuck with, but like 95%. Well, I would say like 80% of it is just insanity.
yeah, it is.
It's just like, what the fuck? Okay, dog.
But there's a good
I get
there's
it.
a good like 15% that's fucking hilarious. Like it is, yo. It's just funny. Like it's so off the wall. You'd be like, all right, you gotta relax. But like any of those sort of groups, and look, I'm not taking sort of foundational Black Americans. I'm actually I shouldn't pick on them specifically, but just people who call themselves like who put themselves in that group. I'm not saying that organization believes this. I'm saying what these people say. Like a lot of it seems to be, whether they spell it out directly or not, is this notion of Black supremacy, and I hear it. I hear those kind of things, and I think to myself, you truly don't understand that it's not white people, white supremacy that is the problem. It just so happens that they are white, and it is a supremacist ideology. Because if they were Asian, it would be equally as shitty. If they were Black, it would be equally as shitty. Like, there's no, like, it's just the only type of major worldwide supremacy we've ever seen. So we assume that it's like, it's rooted in just like a random color that a person is. No, it isn't. It's just shitty mindset. It's just really shitty mindset. But white people are given the center of everything and everything else. So it's hard to see past that. But if you put Black people in those situations, absolute power would corrupt absolutely. They would be awful. Like, no, thank you. Like, it does not behoove us to want to be like white people. You should want to be better than that. Like, you shouldn't want to repeat the same mistakes that they've made, the same horrendous choices they've made of their standing in society. It does you no favors to be like, I want to be just like fucking Donald Trump. Why? Why the fuck would you want to be like that? I get like money wise, if that nigga's rich, who even knows at this point. But I don't understand wanting to be in his position, like in society. I just don't understand that. And I'm not talking about it from a wealth perspective. I'm talking about from a supremacy perspective. But then I see how some Black dudes treat Black women, and I'm like, yeah, okay. I get where it comes from. Like, that's an example of that same level of supremacy, right? Like, you see a lot of that in the manosphere shit and everything else. That's just a type of supremacy.
Like, yeah, because they can't beat white people, and they don't want to join white people. So they find someone that they think they can beat.
They probably would. If they could, they probably would.
Yeah, I agree with Terrence.
Oh yeah. You know what? You're right, but they're not letting them, right?
Yeah, they're not let in.
Right. You gotta be a Candace Owens, and even then they'll throw her under the bus. And even as soon as she starts wilding.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the second they need a scapegoat, like that's it. So they beat up on a class that they think is weaker than them, and that's women, Black women specifically, because
or gay folks.
Right,
or
gay
folks.
That's the shit that drives me fucking mad. Like you
know what it's like to be oppressed, yo.
Right, you know what it feels like, but then you just do it to someone else. Like, what's your fucking problem, dude?
Yeah, I mean, look,
what's wrong with you?
I mean, that quote that some people have said, I think is incredibly apt. Some people just do not get it, but the idea of like Black men are the white people of Black people.
Yeah, I was Rod to say that shit.
Yeah, and I remember when Rod from the Black Guy Who Tips, when he said that, somebody made a video and they had no idea what he meant, and he's like, "How can that be?" Blah, blah, blah. I was like, "You don't get it. You don't get it." And the fact that you don't get it is really sad.
Like the fact that you don't get it. Take a look at yourself, bro.
They probably thought, wait a minute.
Right, like they took it literal. They're like, "How is that even possible?" I'm like,
like I saw that quote, and the second I saw it, I'm like, "Yo, that is the most profound quote I've ever seen." Like when
it's 100% accurate. It's 100%
fucking
accurate.
Incredibly accurate.
Right, but
if you could, you would.
You would, right? And you can take that, and you can make race less of a factor in that, but you can take that and you can apply that to any race. You could take that to Asian folks. You can take it to Jewish folks. Men will exploit women inside there, in any minority group, they will exploit those women because that is the group they can kick down that is closest to them, right? It's true. It's a fact. So, like, white men in this movie and in that general conversation are seen as the top of the heap. And it's a very weird thing when you see other minority groups trying to claw and scrape and kick down each other to ascend to that position. What you should be trying to do is tear down that structure and make a table for everyone. Like, that's what you should be doing, not trying to sit atop the table while everyone sits below it. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But to me, it feels easier. My guess is to them, I think to them, it feels easier to just ascend to the top, kick everyone else down, and then when I sit up there, I'll be just. Like, no, you won't.
Yeah, I'll be fair.
Yeah,
because I know what it's like. Okay.
Yeah, you're not even fair to the fucking people who are the same color as you, my nigga. They just have different sexual parts than you. Like, you're not even fair to them. So, yeah, the idea of supremacy, I just don't understand how people think it makes sense. Like, I just don't. From a racial perspective, from a religious perspective, anything, just historically. It has never worked. It has literally never worked. Or I shouldn't say it's never worked. You've always been seen like a piece of shit. Yeah, it's worked for them, but you've always been seen as a piece of shit. And history has always been correct about that. But maybe it'll be different this time for me. No, okay. It won't be. So, yeah, Koja is like all in on the Nazi shit. Then Ahmed basically gets a group of his soldiers. He actually trains them better than the ones that were getting tossed up in that park earlier. And they infiltrate the Nazi headquarters. This is the part that Terrence is just fast forwarding frantically through. And he eventually kills Koja. He shoots him in a pool. So,
yeah,
a pool that black people aren't even allowed to go to because of white people. See?
So he didn't
train them. So yeah, so he was talking to Marsha and is like, I got to do this thing and I got to do it alone, right? So he went to infiltrate the black Nazi camp, and he disguised himself as an officer.
Oh, that's right.
Found a bunch of recruits and was like, I'm the new SS guy. And
don't you mean Gestapo? Yeah.
We're going to do an endurance test. You're going to run as fast as you can away from me. They're like, yes, sir.
What?
Yeah, right. Like they're doing the Black Power fist, but like
Hail Hydra.
Like the way Laura Ingraham would do it, right? and
whoa.
And then he's like he's doing his whole like metal Gestapo gear, right? Like and he's going around and he's setting up traps and shit. And one of the traps is a tripwire for some makeshift like cannons or whatever.
It's like a super gun. It's like a 6-barrel gun.
Like, it's the spreader from Contra, right? So he's got the spreader.
That's not wrong, though. That's not wrong.
He's got the spreader hooked up to a tripwire, but the tripwire is crossing a clear road, and it's just
the tripwire is not exactly like thin or clear.
Right,
it's a rope,
braided rope. I was like, all right, these niggas are blind as fuck. Like these are the worst. These are literal like security guards from a video game. They're running their route. They have a fucking cone vision. They can't see to the left or the right because this nigga climbed a tree in broad daylight and brought a big fucking duffel bag up there with him, and nobody saw anything.
It was like,
I'm like,
bonk. It just hit the guy in the head. Oh. He just went down. That shit was hilarious.
Like, yo, these niggas are terrible. Jesus Christ.
So he eventually makes it to Koja, and he's getting ready to take Koja on, and the other, dude
James
shows
Earl
up.
Jones comes in.
Yeah, he was like, whoa. What makes you think I need to like you? And then he fucking grabbed his ass up. and he's holding him down, like he's got him like in a chokehold or whatever, and he's holding Ahmed down, and Koja pulls out his JD's Revenge blade, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna cut this nigga's neck now." And as he goes to jump down and attack Ahmed just puts a boot in his chest and just tossed his ass over there, and he ends up falling and cutting the throat of his buddy. Oh. He died.
How? Like, what the fuck? I was like,
like
fucking dumb. You know?
You say dumb, I say you're right, but that's irrelevant. So they got hit with
an invisible snapmare, flipped over, and somehow because Ahmed's head was blocking the neck, but somehow he was able to fucking get that shit right up in there and squirt that red dye number 5 right over that dude's neck. It's just funny, man.
So they end up punching each other until they fall in the pool, and then in the pool, Ahmed gets the gun, gets Koja's rifle, and ends up shooting Koja inside the pool.
Here's something I do like. Something I love about this era of movie making. While the fights look ridiculous, they also look real. They also look real.
I actually dug this fight because I didn't fast forward through the entirety of the last 15 minutes, but I watched this fight. I'm like, this is the best fight of the movie because it looks like this looks like two niggas fighting. Like,
they get exhausted super fast.
Like, a fucking monkey flip and do fucking elbows and knees to the face. I'm like, yeah, this is a solid fight.
Yeah, and it lasts about a minute, which is all most people can last in a real fight.
Right.
You got no 15 minutes stamina nonsense. Nah, you're not a professional MMA fighter.
Look, the average person can't last the length of an average 2 rounds of Street Fighter. So there's no way. And look, those are at max 3 minutes because there's 99 seconds a round. So no, you ain't gonna do that. Get out of here. But these two dudes are kicking each other and punching them in the balls. One dude does the Micah move and just constantly picking up that knife. And when he can't, he picks up a chair. And then, much like me, his greatest weakness is swimming. Because once he gets in that pool, he don't get back out.
Like, no, please, like, can we just keep it to the grass? Like, that's not my terrain, this is not my terrain. So yeah, the movie ends with Koja laying dead in the pool.
And then I like how this movie answers the question, so what would happen if the cameras keep rolling? Because, like, we know he's dead. We know Koja's dead. Like, we see him in the pool dead. And we also see Ahmed get up, walk over to the other dead body, drop the gun, walk through the gate, close the gate, walk across the street, turn the corner. I'm like, all right, we get it. You won, bro. Like,
they should have just shown
the compound,
right? Like, show him like
the door.
Like, show him like sit down for dinner. Like, whew, hell of a day. Credits. Like, it's like 45 minutes. Like, we got it. That shit is funny. But yeah, look, all in all, not an amazing movie by any means, but certainly an interesting conversation about what it means to have Black liberation possibly hijacked by people with thought processes and desires that are not in line with what I think Black liberation is. It is not to turn Black people into white people's replacement. I don't think that helps anybody. I don't think it helps Black people. I think it is juvenile and easy to say that it would help, but no, I don't think it would help at all.
Yeah, that's what white people fear. That's the fear that the white people have.
Yes,
that's what
it quite literally is.
If we actually were able to do that.
Right. All that like,
fuck alone.
Right. All that like, but what about Black people rising up? If that was going to happen, we'd have killed y'all 30 years ago. 50 years ago, we would have.
It would have happened a long time ago when like guns were much more. Well, they're always easily accessible, but like,
Y'all ain't have as
nah,
many.
yo. They didn't have as many, and we had much more opportunity.
Yeah.
So because black people don't want to go, and the average black person doesn't want to go around killing white people. Like you said, Terrence, just leave me alone.
That's it.
At this point in my life, I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be your enemy, but I don't want to talk to you. Just leave me alone. If you're a nice person, all right, I'll talk to you. But like I don't feel obligated to talk to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be your black friend. I want you to leave me alone.
Yo, I just finished reading that James Baldwin book. Yo, like the longer that book went on, I was just like, it's like, you know what?
Oh shit, that's funny.
Yeah. I mean, like literally the title of the book is The Fire Next Time. Like, I don't know if you know that quote. Michael, do you remember what that quote is from the Bible? Right? Like, it's like after the flood, God's like, the flood is over. Like, don't fuck up. It's the fire next time. Like, that's basically the quote.
God damn.
And like, it's a dope ass, but like when you know that quote, like that's a dope ass title for a book, right? On, you know, sort of, you know, racial injustice and shit. But like, that's how I feel. It's kind of like, just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. I don't, like, just leave me alone. Like I'm not a person who's like, white people be over here, black people be over here. No, like we can all live our lives, but like I'm just sick of the bullshit. That's what I'm sick of, and it's just like it's annoying. And the older I get, the more annoying it becomes. I can feel myself transitioning into like the 50-year-old black dude mentality of like, that's why people get on my goddamn nerves. And you're like, yeah, you can't help it. It's just microaggression after microaggression, and nowadays it's more macroaggressions. Like
especially now, like it's like
it's out of hand.
Herschel Walker almost became a fucking senator.
Right.
Ain't nothing wrong with a coon. A coon is smart. No, they're not.
Coon is smart, like you.
No, they're not. If coons were smart, they'd be on a podcast right now talking about how stupid humans are. They're dumb. They're dumb animals. They're scavengers. Coon is a smart animal. Well, guess what, nigga? They just said that you are no smarter than the smartest animal.
Right.
Like, you should still be insulted, dummy. God.
Yeah. And the only reason why he was pushed up was a direct response to having an intelligent black person running for Senate or in the Senate. That was it.
It's just fucking gross. So they do that shit all the time, yo.
Yeah.
It's just annoying. It's obnoxious. It's annoying. And like, if you don't see that as a black person, I know none of y'all niggas listen to us, but like, if you don't see that, that's what's going on. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
Like, they don't like you. Like, what's that nigga that they pushed for to be the Speaker of the House? I saw him on fucking
Michael. What's his name?
Reed.
My wife went to school with that dude.
Yeah, I saw him on Joy Reid. She had him on, and he was just spouting the same dumb bullshit that the right.
Yeah, he's brainwashed. I'm like,
come on, dude. You know better than that.
No, but the thing is, he probably doesn't. Because I'm sure he thinks to himself, I don't remember what this dude looks like, but I'm just going to assume, I'm sure he thinks to himself, without a stitch of facial hair.
No, he does. He's got a beard.
Oh, shit, really?
He does
wow.
now.
Hey,
he does now. He didn't before, but he does now.
All right, he breaking stereotypes. All right.
Yeah,
we out here now.
He's trying to bring the beard.
Eventually he'll get to his Don Lemon phase where it's just like, you know what? Hair everywhere. I don't care.
What is it? I forget the black dude from SNL, or not SNL. The Daily Show did that song for Trevor Noah. He was like, when the black dude at work starts growing his hair out, he's halfway out the door. Like, shit is 100% true. That's how you know. Right? That's how you know.
Roy Wood Jr.?
Yeah, Roy Wood Jr. That dude's fucking hilarious.
I think it's really fucking funny, man.
Yeah, but like, look, the idea of like, I block somebody, and I don't normally do that on our YouTube channel. This white dude was like, I'm going to start a white on white cinema. I'm sure nobody will care about, I'm sure nobody will have a problem with that. And I responded, I was like, No, I said, so it'll be like every other movie review channel. No one will care.
Yeah.
No one will care. And he was like, so what did he write? He wrote something to the effect of, so if it's not black, then the default is white. What college did you go to learn that? And I went to respond, and I was just like, block, because I don't have the space and time to explain to a white person in America that they're at the center of everything, because you don't get it, because that's how prominent it is. You don't even see, like, fish don't know they're in fucking water, dude. They don't. It's everywhere. Like, do you notice air? No, you don't. You live in that shit, motherfucker. What are you talking about? You know who notices that water's around fish? Humans. Because they got to be in, if they get in the water, like, oh shit, it's different. That's what it's like to be black. America and not most of the world, but a lot of the world centers on whiteness. It does. Oh, where'd you learn that? I don't know. Real life education? What the fuck? Like, to that, I was like, again, there's traffic over there. Just walk into it, because you're useless. You're useless to society. You're not helping anyone. You're not. If you don't understand that, you're not helping anybody. We could do without you. But that's why I was like, block. Just block.
Yeah, I'm not a teacher. I'm not. If you don't understand that, I'm not going to teach you, and you're just being willfully ignorant at that time. At that point, I don't have the bandwidth to deal with that shit. I got too many problems of my own.
Yeah, you know what? That's exactly the right word.
You're probably the cause of them.
Like,
clown,
right?
But
imagine going through life not going through life with so little problems that you can argue with someone about race relations via YouTube comments. Nah, yo, I'm trying to make sure. I'm trying to make sure my boys don't die. I'm trying to make sure that I come home.
Right.
I don't want to hear that shit, man.
Yeah,
I'm trying to make sure I get a loan. I'm trying to make sure I keep my job. Yo, come on, man.
I found that amazing. What college you learn at? One, I didn't have to go to school to learn that. I'm a 42-year-old black man. I just wake up every day. I'm sorry that your life is just so unbelievably just doused in ignorance that you don't understand that. But I'm not here to explain it to you. I'm tired of explaining it to you. I'm not centering your ignorance in my world. Fuck off. Just fuck off. And look, and I sent you guys this clip. You probably haven't had a chance to watch it yet. There was a guy on like LeBron's show or whatever. He's like an artist or something. And he had this like really interesting thing to say. He was like, listen, we have to stop centering like whiteness, like as artists and things like that. We have to stop centering whiteness in our work. He was like, hey, white people, look at us. We're different. Like, you got to notice us. You got to notice these things about us. Like, you got to learn. He was like, no, I'm not here to fucking teach you anything. Like, fuck off. Like, basically. And he was like, listen, why am I telling you my hair is different? No, it's just my hair. Because if I tell you my hair is different, I am centering you. Like, no. Fuck you. If you don't notice it, that's on you. I don't give a shit. Center ourselves. That's what this channel is. If you listen to this show or you watch this channel and stuff like that, and you're not black, that is perfectly fine. But know this, and I'm not saying this to be rude or turn anybody off. This show is never going to be aimed at you. It literally never will be. And I know we have some white listeners who would be like, yeah, it fucking shouldn't be. Like, that's the point. But there's a lot of white people who don't get that. Because they are so steeped in this idea that they are at the center of everything, that they think that they should be at the center of even shit when we're talking about us. They don't understand it. So, like, God love you, Andy, but this show will never be for you. Or excuse me, it will never be centered. Like, white perspectives will never be centered here. That's why there's never been a white person on the show. There's a reason for that.
That's a hard stance.
It's a hard stance.
Yeah. And some of them have asked.
Yes.
You gotta let me on the Black Dynamite episode. Nah. Well, I think I might have some interesting commentary. Nah.
Look.
No.
Look.
No.
Hell no.
1,000 times.
Yeah, hell no.
Good God, I would take 3 Jacks on the show before I took a Matthew on the show.
No, that's wild. Like Jack would actually be funny on the Black Dynamite.
Might have good commentary. Wait, what?
Jack wanted to be on Black
Oh
Dynamite.
no, I know he wanted to be on the Black Dynamite. So.
Matthew wanted to be on something.
No. He wanted to be one of the hosts, like original. I was like,
I feel like Wendy Williams.
You're an asshole. You're an asshole. You're an asshole.
I didn't know he wanted to be straight up. Like,
Jay, Micah, Terrence, and Matthew.
I pushed that nigga out of his seat just because. Fuck out of here. Like, what are you talking about?
Every episode, Terrence just glaring across the table. That is absolute nonsense. Like, give your opinion. Go ahead. Like, no.
Well, I feel like from my perspective, shut
up.
Shut up. Get out. Like, no, pause. Get out. No, we're not doing this.
Just put up the Simpsons sign. We're experiencing technical difficulties. But
like,
yeah,
I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he would derail the nerdpocalypse, yo. Can you imagine the two 747s, the two fucking trains that would have to just jump off of the track and fist fight each other if he would have come on here with some nonsense?
No, it could never happen. Yeah. So look, but I mean that truly. This show is not, it is not designed to appeal to white people. If white people listen and they enjoy it, more power to you. It's a good way for you to hear true black perspectives that are not like, oh, well, I don't want to say a thing to hurt white people's feelings. I'm sorry. Yeah, that party is over. Like, that party's over. But, we have other shows that are, they're for everybody. But, that's just the thing. And I've always felt that way. And the longer we've done the show, the more I feel that way. So, like, look, black people, this for us.
Like, we see you.
We see you. Except for Tiara, because she ain't here. I got to work for the white man. I can't make it. Of course. All right. That is it for us for episode 236, The Black Gestapo. Again, check it out or don't. You can watch it on Tubi or on YouTube. But I thought this was a very good conversation. Much better than the movie, actually. Yes. All right. So we will be back with another preview episode next week for preview for episode 237. Later, guys.
See you.
Take it easy.
Bye. You're watching the Black on Black Cinema YouTube channel. Make sure you check out our full reviews of black movies, past and present. And every other week, we do a preview episode where we talk about a random topic that affects the black community.